look, this is an update that I feel like a lot of our viewers, because we have so many true crime viewers, are going to be like, duh, this is old news. But for me, it is such a big deal, you guys. I don't understand how it happened. I don't get it. It just blows my mind, okay? So, March 20th of this year, a month ago or 2 months ago or whatever it was, Republican Governor Brad Little signed a bill allowing an execution by firing squad, making Idaho the latest state to turn to older methods of capital punishment amid a nationwide shortage of lethal injection drugs. And the legislature passed the measure on March 20th with a veto-proof majority. Mind blown that we are reverting back to firing squad. Like, I don't get it.
So tell me, what about firing squad seems like barbaric or too far to you?
There is a very, very, very good chance that it is not going to be an instant death, okay? On top of that, you're also asking every single person that holds a gun to risk trauma, to risk their sleep at night, okay? There's not just 10 people, because I'm pretty sure firing squad works like this. The guy gets set up, and there's 10 people, and 9 of them have blanks, 1 of them has a bullet. Or I've also seen it where they all have a bullet in it, so you don't know which one's a kill shot and it guarantees death, whatever. But you're risking the trauma of all of those people, too. Like, there has got to be a better way. Even if it's like, what they do for cows with that spike injection thing in the skull? Like, how is that not better in an automatic way where you don't have a bunch of people pulling a trigger taking a human life?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a good example, the cow thing, but
I'm
I do
just
understand.
Of automatic.
Like, if you think about the experience of lethal injection, okay, just injecting someone and they go to sleep, it's not that simple, or the idea of all these people firing a gun at a human being and seeing their head or seeing the bullet go in and the blood, and it's way more traumatic, I think, to the human psyche to see a person get shot than go to sleep from an injection.
You know how many people I've met in my life that have taken a bullet in the head and are alive?
Oh, trust me, I know.
A lot. I met someone that was playing Russian roulette and directly to the head and lived like...
Murdaugh.
Yes.
The case of Murdaugh.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So, like, it just does not seem like an effective way. It feels so barbaric to me that my mind is blown. I don't get it. I feel like this is something that should have been left back in, like, the 1950s. Now, on top of this, okay, so with Idaho adopting that in a veto-proof majority bill, they've been added to one of now 5 states that also permit executions by firing squad: Mississippi, Oklahoma, Utah, South Carolina, and now Idaho.
Oh, I'm not shocked by those very specific states being the one to do this.
I am.
And I'm not, because of the states they are. Nothing against people that live there, but it's a certain way of thinking, like in conservative circles. I think if there's a nationwide shortage of lethal injections, then how about we just take a pause? They sit on death row forever anyway. Like, forever.
Yeah. And
so
I want to be clear when I'm talking about this too. My concern isn't with the person that would be executed, because once they get to that point, they have gone through multiple motions. They have seen a judge. They have been judged by their peers and a jury. They have probably more than likely tried to get that turned around. Like, it's a very, very, very lengthy process that by the time they're in front of that wall going through this,
appeals. Yep.
They've had their day in court probably tenfold or 100-fold, okay? My concern is everybody else that has to be involved in this. Like, okay, we have a shortage of lethal injection. Got it. I understand that. Why are we not taking some of the insane amounts of fentanyl that we're just having the biggest busts in all time in the last 6 months and using that as a lethal injection dose? Like,
I don't get it. That would be so quick and painless.
It would be painless for the person that's being executed, and it could be done in the same way that they're doing the lethal injection. Like,
I know.
I just feel like there's so many other ways where you're not traumatizing 10 people.
I agree. There's other drugs you can use other than whatever's in lethal injection, which I don't think it's any opioids.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way, you guys. But I'm very curious what you think about this. I'm very curious if you think that this would issue trauma to these people. Is there going to be a set firing squad? Is it going to be the same people every time? Are we going to use guys that are like military men that already know that they can take a life without having that trauma because they've come to terms with the fact that they're not the ones deciding it, their commanding officers are? You know what I mean? There are people out there that can compartmentalize really, 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 really well when they're in the field in war and can end, you know, any amount of people because it's not them deciding. So it's very different, you know. Are we going to use those kind of guys? Like, what are the stipulations and details to this? Because it's just not worth harming somebody to execute the criminal, in my opinion. But
yeah, I just think it's like back to like capital punishment, and that's how we used to be. We used to do like public hangings and firing squad and, you know, all these things, and we've moved away from that because it's seen as barbaric. So it's just a bit weird to go backwards. To answer the question about what's in a lethal injection, it's midazolam or something like that to sedate. Curanome, I don't know. We'll put the picture up. Bromide, which is to paralyze muscles. Potassium chloride to stop the heart. Why are they not just using morphine or fentanyl?
I
don't get it.
I don't understand. I've felt like that my whole life too. Is why are we not just using a really, really, really powerful opiate? I don't get it. You wouldn't have to have the muscle, whatever medication that was to stop the muscles from moving and contract. Like, you don't need any of that. You need one thing, just a very strong opiate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm really curious why they don't use opioids. I'm going to have to literally look into that because I don't get it.
When an opiate OD happens, you guys, if you guys don't know, it just depresses your breathing so much, and you like your body slows down so much, and your heart rate and everything, that like you just slowly
it suppresses your breathing.
Doze off. You know, if you've ever seen anybody come to, they don't even know what's going on. They could have not been breathing for 2 full minutes, and when they come to, they're like, what's going on?
That's like people with a tolerance, though. Like, if you've seen addicts do it. The thing about people who don't have a tolerance is it actually might be slightly painful because they might get the pins and needles and throwing up, and they're going to feel that rush when it's injected. Like, I wonder if the experience, which I don't know why that matters.
You just do a slow injection.
Yeah.
You can just change to a slow injection.
Yeah, like a drip, like slowly over time. Of a very strong medication, yeah.
Absolutely. But anyways, I'm really curious what you guys think about that. If you think that was a good idea, if why you think they went this route, why you think they went with a firing squad versus some other form. You know what I mean? I'm not suggesting we bring back the electric chair, but like, we have gases even that can make people slowly, you know, doze off and they're gone. Why are we not using a gas chamber over a firing squad?
Or even a mask with some kind of...
I agree. I just don't get it.
I don't understand
it.
I think there's definitely other ways other than firing squad.
It's like it's about the image, which is really strange.
I agree. I do think it's about the image.
Like, we're a BA state, so what's up, you know?
Yep.
You come mess around here, you're going to get ended by a firing squad, which I got to tell you, based on criminal psyche, it doesn't matter how bad the punishment is. The type of people that would do that crime don't take into account what the punishment is. So it doesn't matter what your punishments are. It's not going to change the amount of criminals that you have willing to do that.
Yeah, and from what I've seen from a lot of serial killers, they don't really care about death. They're not scared of death.
Yeah.
So the death penalty doesn't mean anything to them.
Yep.
Anyway,
living's probably worse, honestly.